I am not unique. Almost every person in Israel knows at least one or two people who survived the Holocaust. Almost every person in Israel has lost family members in the Holocaust. In 1939, when the Second World War started, the Jewish population all over the world was around 12 or 13 million. 6 years later, 6 million people were dead, which means that half of the Jewish population all over the world disappeared in just 6 years. This is something that we are still bearing with us today, so many years afterwards. In fact, there have been books written about this issue claiming that the number of victims was not only the 6 million who were murdered during the Holocaust, but also another million of survivors, because they carry the psychological trauma. Even the children carry the psychological trauma. Let me share with you some examples from my own family. My father was born in Hungary in 1929. When the war started, he was 10 years old. His father was a successful businessman, and he had a sister. During the war, they were locked in a concentration camp by the Germans, and then they were moved from camp to camp. Several things happened. First of all, overnight, my father's father, my grandfather, lost his place in the family. I think many of you in Cameroon will understand this. Men usually feel that they are very important. The man is the head of the family. He provides the food, the status, the money. And when you take away this role from the father, everything collapses. Men don't know how to deal with it. They lose their honor, their dignity, their self-esteem. That happened to millions of men in the war, because in a camp, in a concentration camp, the woman becomes more important. The woman gets the food. The woman gets the medication. The man, if he's strong, will be working 20 hours a day. If he's not strong, he will be shot. My grandfather wasn't shot, but suddenly he couldn't provide his children, his wife, with food, with medication. And he lost his mental stability. He never recovered from this, from the psychological trauma. My father's family survived. Only 4 of them survived. My 2 grandparents, my father and his sister. All the others were murdered. Why did they survive? I often asked myself this. There were 2 reasons why they survived. The first reason was that my father, when he was a child, he had blonde hair and blue eyes. So he looked like a German child. And the German soldiers in the camp liked him very much, and they gave him potatoes and a little bit of food. So he shared it with his parents and his sister, and they never starved to death. The other reason was even more important. My grandmother, my father's mother, was a very good cook. She was a very good cook. And is it working? Yeah. She was a very good cook, and the Nazi commander of the camp ordered her to be the cook, his personal cook for the family. And that's how she managed to steal some food, but especially garlic. You know garlic? I think it's very popular in Cameroon. Garlic gives you natural immunity against many, many different kinds of diseases. For example, cholera or typhoid. So my father's family survived because of garlic, and they never became ill during the Holocaust. For these 2 reasons, they survived. However, as I said, in Israel, everyone is familiar with the Holocaust because everyone lost family relatives or their parents are survivors. My father's best friend was a survivor from the most notorious, the most terrible of all the death camps, Auschwitz. In Auschwitz, there used to be a Nazi scientist, a doctor. I don't know how many of you have heard of Dr. Mengele. Dr. Mengele was a Nazi doctor who carried out experiments in human beings, especially children. All sorts of absolutely horrific experiments. I will not share with you the details because they are too terrible. But my father's best friend, he was a child and he was experimented on by Dr. Mengele. And he could never share his experiences. And what's more, whenever he saw a doctor or any kind of a nurse or a person wearing medical uniform, he immediately fainted, even when he was 50 or 60 or 70 years old. He couldn't see people wearing medical uniform. Every person in Israel has such personal experiences from his parents, his grandparents. And this is why, when I was a child, I rejected it. I didn't want to hear anymore. You feel that this subject is so terrible and so powerful, you don't want to hear about it. You want to go on with your daily life. You want to watch music videos and play football. But sometimes you have to face up to these issues. And my time came only 15 years ago. I was already quite mature. I had my own family, my own children. And for the first time, I went to visit the death camps, the Auschwitz. And in Auschwitz, suddenly when I was there, I was overwhelmed because I had my own children. And I thought to myself, how would my children, they were very little at the time, how would they have survived these conditions? With no food, with gas, with the disease, with starvation. How did my father survive this? And if my father had not been so lucky, I wouldn't have been born. So for the first time in my life, I had to think carefully about this. What does the Holocaust mean to me? Okay? We all watch these films, we read the books, we read the information, but we absorb it only on a theoretical, on an intellectual level. When I went to the camp for the first time, I had to absorb it here, in my heart. And then I realized for the first time that the Holocaust is not just a terrible event in history. It's something that can happen again and again and again. And in fact, it has happened. Not on the same scale. Never in history two examples of genocide are identical. But the most recent terrible example that everyone is familiar with is in Rwanda, of course. What happened with the Hutus and Tutsis. Now, if you look at all examples of genocide in the history, all of them have one thing in common. And this is what you spoke about so eloquently. It always starts with the dehumanization of people who are different from us. In Rwanda, the Tutsis were presented as unhuman. And it started at least a year before the genocide erupted. It started in classrooms, it started in the education system, it started in public advertising, presenting people who are different from us as subhuman. They are not human beings, they are little better than animals. This is what how the Nazis described the Jews. Same things happened throughout history. And unfortunately, we are still surrounded every day by cases of people who are different from us, and we, sometimes without realizing it, we contribute to dehumanizing them. I sometimes hear from my own friends the most unbelievable opinions. This guy is not really a person like me because he's a Muslim, because he's a Christian. 2 years ago, do you remember what happened next door in Central Africa? Between Seleka and Antibalaka. It's still happening outside of Bangui every day. Christians and Muslims are massacring each other. Happens in Nigeria, Boko Haram. I'm very proud to be the Israeli ambassador in Cameroon because Cameroon has a tradition of tolerance and harmony between different denominations, different religions, and different ethnic groups. Cameroon has never experienced these terrible acts of genocide like other countries in the world. However, we all have to keep on our guard and make sure that we never contribute, even on a local community level. We should never contribute to delegitimizing or dehumanizing people who are different from us for any reason, because they belong to a different ethnic group, or they follow a different religion, or they have different sexual preferences and orientation. Now, when I ask myself what is my private lesson from the Holocaust, I will share with you something that is quite embarrassing for me. Okay? I grew up in Israel. I went to school in Israel, and then I went to university in the UK. My younger brother went to university in America. And in America, my younger brother met his girlfriend, who was Japanese. And he announced that he was going to marry his Japanese girlfriend. And my father, who survived the Holocaust, said, "No way. My son will only marry a Jewish girl." And we said, "But why? We are not religious. We are very liberal, we are very secular." He said, "No, I was nearly murdered in the Holocaust, and I lost so many of my family relatives. I will never agree to my son marrying someone of a different nationality and a different religion, especially not Japanese, because Japan during the Second World War was an ally of Nazi Germany." As a result of my father's decision, my father and my younger brother didn't speak to each other for two years. 2 years. My brother married his Japanese girlfriend. But after 2 years, all of us in our family decided to talk to my father. And we said, "Is this the lesson you took from the Holocaust? Is this the real lesson? That we should always stick with other people from our own ethnic group or religion? The lesson should be the exact opposite. That we should open up to people who are different from us and accept whatever is good in them." And my father started crying. And the next week, he went to see my brother and they made peace. And nowadays, my Japanese sister-in-law is like a daughter to my father. Okay? So this is our personal journey in our family, how all of us have come to accept the Holocaust and learn lessons from the Holocaust. And this is something that was important for me to share with you today, because the Holocaust is not just a film or a book or something that you read in a paper. The Holocaust is still around the corner. There's always genocide around the corner, and it is our responsibility always to do everything in our power. Just as you said, if you see a text message, a SMS, WhatsApp, that is ringing the alarm bell, we shouldn't forward it to other friends. We should talk to our friends, we should talk to our members of the family and tell them this is not the way forward. We have learned our lesson. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to meet you. And I hope that with at least some of you I will keep in touch in the future. I encourage you to look at the website of the Israeli Embassy. We also have a Facebook page at the Israeli Embassy. And if you ever need any more information, either on the Holocaust, the Jewish people, the Jewish religion, or the state of Israel, please contact us. We are very open-minded and we always want to make contact with the young Cameroonians because you are the future of Cameroon. Thank you.
Excellency was so elated. I think we would have done better. We would have got better than everybody else. The horses were more. That's why we wanted to add